Throughout the long and difficult period of Watergate, I have felt it was my duty to persevere. To leave office before my term is completed is abhorrent to every instinct in my body. But as president, I must put the interests of America first.
I think Watergate was one of the great tests of the American system and of the most powerful office that we have, the presidency. And in many ways, I believe that we're stronger for it because we learned that there are people who will attempt to use that very powerful office to their own ends.
Watergate was the Nixon administration committing petty political crimes to try to ensure the re-election of the president and pain to his political enemies, getting caught in the process, it being broken open by a couple of scrappy young reporters who had no business in a story that big at the Washington Post. They got editorial support, they followed the leads, they followed the money.
An unelected media coup against the lawfully elected president. That was what it was at the time. That's what it still is, a media coup. And it was a very unfortunate thing. And now somebody, I know you're going to have somebody on afterwards who says, oh, he had people break into Ellsberg's psychiatrist's office. He paid people to not talk. I don't know what else you're going to have people say. And I'll agree with all that. They all did, it's fine. They did it all. I mean, in the context of what human beings are like, he was a saint. He was a peacemaker.
Today's Watergate legacy? Not much. I mean, people never, but Warren Buffett's right. The only thing people ever learn from history is people never learn from history. They've already gutted anything to do with the sort of most of the reforms. Press is a shadow of its former self. I think if Watergate happened today, we wouldn't even know about it.
I mean, ultimately, what's at stake if you let a president go, presidential powers expand without check, is that it threatens our democracy. Nixon was willing to wiretap journalists and his political opponent, getting unnecessarily into wars, expanding wars without the approval of the American people, lying to the American people about war-making powers. That's why the lessons of Watergate are so important, because it shows that when the system works best when there are vigorous and strong checks and balances, when no president can interfere with an election, when no president can audit his political enemies or break into their campaign headquarters or undermine an election process.
But in the final analysis, they have to answer to all of us and to the rules that govern it. And it takes real vigilance on the part of journalists and citizens alike to make sure that that compact is secure.